Welcome to Pinas Insider.
Ito, tinatago ko kasi ako binulungan ng mga intelligence sa military. Ito ang nangyari sa Pilipinas. Sabi ni Pinoy, he authorized Trillanes to go to China to negotiate. I really do not know what. He doesn't want to tell us. 16 times, and after that, we lost the Scarborough Shoal.
Why Trillanes and not someone else? Why was Trillanes selected as the negotiator for Aquino? Paano siya nagkaroon ng connection na gano'n na pwede niyang lapitan ang mga pinuno ng China? Yun ang isang misteryo na hanggang ngayon dapat malaman kung anong kasagutan.
Mismo ang palasyo ang nagkumpirmang itinalaga ni Pangulong Noynoy Aquino si Senador Antonio Trillanes IV bilang back channel negotiator ng gobyerno ng Pilipinas sa China.
Ang tanda ko dyan, kinontak tayo ni Senator Trillanes at nasa China siya at that time at nilapitan siya, tinanong yung posibilidad kung pwede siyang maging back channel nga. So, in the absence of any other channels that were existing beforehand, at sa gusto nating ma-resolve na mapayapa ito sitwasyon sa Scarborough Shoal, so ano mawawala sa ating pakinggan ni pararating?
Kasi maano yung sitwasyon. Nagre-report ako kay Presidente, lahat ng proposal, galing sa kanya, counter proposal, so kung anong hindi niya papayagan, hindi papayagan. So, messenger lang ako dito.
Trillanes wanted everything that was happening in Scarborough to be made secret so that it will protect the interest of the Chinese. But he was insisting on a one-on-one dealings with China. Pinoy did not know of the arrangements being made by the senator. Imagine talking to an enemy of a potential enemy of this country 16 times. What did he discuss with these people? Who initiated the discussion? Did he? Or did they? Did they pay for his trip to Beijing? Huh? He should answer. That's why he could not be here because I'm going to ask him. My God, this guy is a fraud. He's supposed to be a trained military mind, but he does not know anything about military strategy. Senator Trillanes has been quietly, secretly, clandestinely meeting with the Chinese about the Scarborough. He said to Mrs. Brady, sa Pilipinas, walang may gusto na sa atin yung panatag, yung Scarborough Shoal. Yan ang sinasabi niya. Pilipino ba yan? Makabayan ba yan? My God! What kind of a senator is this?
Napipilitan ako ngayon sabihin. Nilabas na rin ni Nick because there has to be somebody who will answer to this. Bakit na panahon na kinuha na yung shoal, there was no active movement sa armed forces? Bakit hindi nagpadala maski isang barko lang at sitahin? Amin yan! Anong ginagawa mo, China? Walang ginawa! Ang order was to stand down! Stand down, huwag kayong maghawak ng armas. Anak na! Pinagbili nila ang bayan natin. So what was the 16 trips of Trillanes? What was it all about? What was it all? Anong nangyari? Yan ang ayaw ko sanang bitawan kasi mainit ang mga sundalo.
This is the so-called Brady Notes, or the notes of Philippine Ambassador to China Sonia Brady on the back channel talks between Senator Antonio Trillanes and Chinese government officials. It was supposed to be confidential, but made public at the height of the Senate showdown between Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile and Senator Antonio Trillanes. Now, the document has become controversial. In it, Trillanes allegedly called Foreign Affairs Secretary Albert Del Rosario a traitor.
They will not be anything there sa Scarborough Show. Maniwala kayo kasi yan ang commitment sa akin ng China. And galing kay si Xi Jinping mismo nagsabi, and he's a man of honor.
America is afraid to go to war. Talagang mapupulpog itong planet na to. And I think if you commit the mistake of just pressing one button there, it's going to end the world. I think Americans are not ready for that. They are not suicidal in that sense. Putin is also suicidal. Diyan sila takot because Putin is egging for a trouble. And once a war starts here somewhere, involving now America, China, it's going to be the end of the world. And America also does not want war. And second is, they have a problem because the ugly head of bigotry is rearing its. They hate each other's guts. Talagang puputok yan balang araw. It would come to a head. I am very sure of that. We're not generation, pero that's what you get for being so much open to multi. We're better off making friends with China. The end of it, America is also the best friend of China.
Nakahanap ng kakampi si Pangulong Duterte tungkol sa issue sa West Philippine Sea. Nagsalita si dating Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile sa Talk to the Nation ng Pangulo tungkol sa issue. Ayon kay Enrile, tama lamang ang posisyon ng Pangulo na makipag-usap at makipagkaibigan sa China. Hindi din daw dapat agresibo ang Pilipinas tungkol sa West Philippine Sea, lalo dat sa panahon na ito ay walang bansa na kayang lumaban sa China. Question din ni Enrile ang pagiging back-channel negotiator ni dating Senador Antonio Trillanes IV noong Administrasyong Aquino.
Who authorized you to make a backroom negotiation with the Chinese for this Scarborough?
Yes, and the
And
president.
you were telling me about treason. Remember?
Yes, and the
That
president
Secretary
answered you directly that he authorized me. He told it in your face, Mr. President.
What? Yes, that's correct.
Oh, that's correct. Yes,
I accepted that because I
precisely.
did not know that you were authorized. But the fact is that I asked you, whom did you talk to in China?
I don't need to report to the Senate President, Mr. President.
You have a duty
I
to
am not,
report what you do
obliged.
as a senator to this chamber. And in fact, you have a duty to notify the office of the Senate President when you leave this country to go abroad.
But I did
And
not.
the only time that I have authorized you is one time. I do not know how many times you have been to China. My understanding is you have been to China talking to the Chinese government for 6 times already.
Yes. And I
And that
did
you
not-
have met them 15 or 16 times. For
Yes.
what reason? We do not know. Are you becoming a fifth columnist of the Chinese in this country?
The Senate President is not privy to the backroom channel talks, and I'm not obliged in any way to
I think you have a duty to inform the people.
I'm not. I have already informed the people, but not the Senate President. I'm not obliged to report to the Senate President, and all this line of questioning is irrelevant again. And should this line of questioning continue, I will have to say that I will refuse to yield anymore the floor.
No, I'm asking you. I'm asking you a question. You went to China. You asked the ambassador of the Philippines there, Madam Brady, for a meeting, and you said, "Do not take notes during our conversation." And you called the Secretary of Foreign Affairs a traitor. In fact, you told me that he committed treason.
Yes, it was an executive session, and we're not supposed to
And I
divulge
will
what's
read.
happening in
You
the.
want? I will read into
What-
the record your conversation with Brady
But it's
and his
supposed to
notes to the Department of Foreign
It's
Affairs.
supposed to be a confidential matter.
Yes, but there's nothing confidential.
Even in the executive meeting, cabinet meeting, in the cabinet meeting in Malacanang, Mr. President, I will refuse to answer if that's
Because
going
you
to be the
cannot
line.
answer the
no,
questions I'm
because
going
it's
to ask
going
you
to
about
be
your
improper
meeting.
in this particular interpretation.
Because you cannot answer the questions I'm going to ask
I can
you.
answer, but I won't be baited into that trap.
You met-
the point
you met
here
Brady.
is, Mr. President, this is
Mr.
how I felt.
President, may I request this gentleman
Mr. President,
to
in
be
that case,
admonished?
I will refuse to yield the floor anymore
Well,
for
in that case, I
any
will read it
interpolation.
to the record the notes that Mrs. Brady or Ambassador Brady wrote about your conversation with her in Beijing on August 12, 2012. You want me to read
point
this?
of order, Mr. President.
You want me to read this?
Point of
What is
order.
the point of order?
The Senate President may reveal sensitive information pertaining to foreign relations and national security, and I believe it is out of order in
You
this
do not teach me what
session.
the parliamentary proceedings. I'm not answerable to anybody about
There is a
what
point
I
of
say
order,
in this hall.
Mr. President.
The Senate President may proceed.
All right, and I have here the white paper that you've been writing about the Secretary of Foreign Affairs. August 17 2012. He cannot take the hit. He's a coward. Senator Trillanes requested that no notes be taken. He met the night before with senior Chinese MFA official, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. 3. Senator was initially approached by Executive Secretary. 4. When he got involved, it was in the height of the problem. He had to find out what was happening, so he tried to see whether this was a move of the Americans. He was suspecting the Americans as involved in the conflict. US has already let him go. Binitiwan na siya. In the July meeting, Hillary Clinton did not speak up for us. Secretary Del Rosario is committing treason. This is a senator of the Republic calling our secretary a treasonous person. In a foreign land, he does not even know when treason arises. He asked Manny V. Pangilinan to ask Secretary Del Rosario to keep quiet, to quiet down. Trillanes wanted everything that was happening in Scarborough to be made secret so that it will protect the interest of the Chinese. 12. Mr. Pangilinan and Secretary Del Rosario wanted to create an event. He was accusing these two of manipulating a war condition to divert attention from the Reed Bank. The findings there were not substantial, so Mr. Pangilinan asked the Chinese group not to release the findings. They needed time to ensure that they can recover their investment first sell off to another buyer. Imagine. What a senator. Nakakahiya. There were alarmists. 13. There were alarmists in the palace meeting when Secretary Del Rosario presented the invasion of Luzon. I was there, and I said I support the position of the Department of Foreign Affairs. We should involve our allies and friends in this discussion because we cannot handle the Chinese on a bilateral basis. But he was insisting on a one-on-one dealings with China. What bargaining position do we have? He's supposed to be a trained military mind, but he does not know anything about military strategy. 14. The senator was inquiring, this is Brady talking, on which officials could visit China. Because the Chinese side were angry with Pinoy, they suggested his kalaban, the vice president. Imagine, intriguing between the president and the vice president. Senators thought perhaps Mar Rojas na lang. According to Mrs. Brady, that was his 12th meeting with the Chinese. Senator Trillanes has been quietly, secretly, clandestinely meeting with the Chinese about the Scarborough and the South China or the West Philippine Sea. Pinoy called the senator when he saw that the Chinese did not keep their word to withdraw. Pinoy did not know of the arrangements being made by the senator. Imagine talking to an enemy of a potential enemy of this country 16 times. What did he discuss with these people? Who initiated the discussion? Did he? Or did they? Did they pay for his trip to Beijing? Huh? He should answer. That's why he could not be here, because I'm going to ask him. My God, this guy is a fraud. 19. In the Philippines, no one cares about Panatag Shoal. He said to Mrs. Brady, sa Pilipinas, walang may gusto na sa atin yung Panatag, yung Scarborough Shoal. Yan ang sinasabi niya. Pilipino ba yan? Makabayan ba yan? My God, what kind of a senator is this? China was never going to put up a station there. Yun ang sinabi niya. Sinabi ni Trillanes. He was speaking for China. If China wanted to, they would have done so already. That was his position. He did not realize that the whole China Sea is being claimed by China. And yet he claims to be an expert in international law, expert in security, expert in geopolitical struggle, expert in foreign relations. About Sancha City and the garrison, their senator, meaning Trillanes, said, we also have garrison in KIG. I think this is Kalayaan Island Group. Garrison ba yun? Ako nagpalagay nung airstrip doon para mabigyan natin ng ayuda yung ating mga sundalo doon. Pero hindi garrison yun. Hindi kagaya nung sinusuportahan niya na bansa na meron ng mga fortification doon. Para sa kanya, hindi fortification yun. Laruan lang yun. Ewan ko sinong nagturo sa kanya sa Philippine Military Academy. Besides, this is for their domestic audience. Domestic audience daw. Pero kinukuha nila ang lugar natin. Pero sa kanya, parte lang ng politika ng China ito. Oh, the Chinese could have attacked our garrison if they wanted to. What a military mind. We also have a sunken ship in the area which we did on purpose. So, ito pinagmamalaki niya. Siguro, baka siya ang nagpalubog dito. Pero hindi ko narinig ito when I was still in the Defense Department. Hanggang ngayon ko lang narinig ito. He told the Chinese, Trillanes told the Chinese that we cannot enforce our coastal protection. That is the kind of a Filipino senator you have here. He told the Chinese that we cannot enforce our coastal protection. Our fishermen are living on subsistence fishing. They cannot therefore fish too far. Ibig niya sabihin, pamigay na lang ninyo yung Scarborough Shoal. Tumakbo tayo. Sapagkat tayo ay mga duwag. Ha? Magkukunwari, pupunta sa galerya, magpapakita sa media para tumakbo lamang. The Philippine side did not make gapang the ASEAN, which the Chinese did. Kalahin mo, sinasabi nyo dapat gapangin natin yung mga ASEAN dahil gumagapang daw yung mga inchik sa boto. Ito, yung tungkol sa nangyari sa Cambodia. May, ano pa kialam nitong senador na ito sa problem sa foreign relations natin? This guy is involving us with a major problem. He asked Secretary Del Rosario if we could give this space in the ASEAN meeting because we did not do this preparation. He wanted to become the Secretary of Foreign Affairs to superimpose his mind to the judgment of the duly designated and appointed shaper of foreign policy for the country. So, now, we fought with everyone. Sabi niya, lumalaban na tayo. Ginapang ng China, pero hindi natin ginawa. Akala ko ba gusto niya peaceful, pero gusto niya makipaggapangan. On the issue of bananas and tourists, they can be fixed quickly if the Chinese leadership wanted. Ayos na ang bananas. Inayos daw niya. Pinagmamalaki niya. Siya daw ang nagpaalis ng mga 40 vapor ng China doon sa Scarborough Shoal. Yun ang pinalalabas niya eh. Pinagtatawanan lang siya. Maski sa Malacanang, marami nabubwisit sa kanya nung nandun kami, kaya lang hindi ko na sinabi sa kanya. The Chinese side suggested a visit of the OTC Secretary to China. Sinabi niya, on the Chinese ships that did maneuvers towards Philippine ship, he said, meaning Trillanes said, that these are ordinary moves that ships would do. Ba, napagkagaling naman itong admiral na ito. Senator was saying, meaning Senator Trillanes was saying that Del Rosario should be replaced by Mar Rojas. Knowing that reports are coursed through DFA, Senator said he would give an alternate channel so that communications can go directly to the palace. He arrogated unto himself to become the channel of foreign policy from him to Malacanang. I do not know whether the president knows about this. Can go ahead with bilateral. China also want this. He was suggesting and working for a bilateral negotiation with China. And in that meeting in the cabinet, it was agreed that we should not do that. I do not want to discuss any more distorted matter, you see, it's enough that I read these notes of Ambassador Brady to unmask this Phantom of the Opera in Philippine politics. I have here his white paper on the Department of Foreign Affairs, and I would not bother you about it. If you want to read it, I will give it to you and read it. Thank you.